Well, I guess it's still morning. Good morning. First, I want to thank MEC for letting me be here, and I want to thank all the members, of course, for the fact of being the backbone of this state. And we appreciate each and every one of you, and we appreciate your input in the Senate. You know, last night I was thinking, what am I going to say to these folks? That was after the ball game was over, and it was kind of late. And I thought about a minister from the Delta back probably 15 years ago that did our invocation for us in the Senate. And his story went like this. I'd like to share it. And it kind of tells you like what being a senator is really like. So anyway, he says, once as Jesus walked down the streets of Galilee, he saw, as he came up on a corner, he saw a young man sitting on the corner that was crying. He looked, and there was some friends around him, and they were all crying. So he walked up behind the young man, put his hand on his shoulder, says, "What's the matter, my son?" And so the guy says, "Lord, I don't know how to tell you this, but it's awful." He says, "I'm blind. I've been blind all my life. I can't enjoy my friends." And Jesus looked at the friends, and they were all crying. And he says, "Lord, if you can do anything to give me my sight back." Well, Jesus then put both hands on him, and the young man opened his eyes and said, I can see, and started crying more. All the people around him started crying more, and they walked off together. Then Jesus walks another block, and he sees another young man that's crying, and he looks at him and says, "What's the matter, my son?" And Jesus looked at all of his friends around him. They were all crying. And he says, "Lord, I've been crippled all my life. I would love to be able to walk just one time." Jesus puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Stand up." And he did. And he started running in place and doing side straddle hops, if any of you guys know what that is. And I'm sure you do. And he started just crying more and more, and all the people around him cried, and they jogged off together. Jesus walks another block. He sees another young man. Well, this one wasn't so young, actually. And he sees him, and he's crying, but he's sitting by himself. He doesn't have any friends. And he looks at the guy and says, "What's the matter, my son? What's the problem?" He said, "Lord, I'm a state senator in Mississippi." Jesus looked at him, walked around in front of him, sat down beside him, and cried with him. And I have never forgotten that story, because this time of year is almost crying time for us in the legislature. It's a very difficult time. But no matter what happens, we're going to work it out. I don't know if it'll take a special session or what, but any problems that we have, any bills that you want passed, if they're going to pass, if they don't pass, don't be too alarmed, but they will, I feel sure. So you guys only bring good information to the Senate. You know, when the senator comes up with a great idea, about 1 out of 1,000 was his idea. It was a constituent's idea. It was some business idea. It was some association idea. It's not our ideas. We'd all like to let you know that how smart we really are. The fact we depend on you to lead us in the right direction. And the good senators all, and I'm sure House members as well, do listen to people like you. Otherwise, they won't be there very long. This session, we've embraced some major issues already, and such things, of course, that we hear every day is teacher pay, teacher assistant pay, which we've added onto our bill. And we're going to give them a pay raise, there's no doubt about it. What it's going to be, you know, it's amazing. The House bill and Senate bill, we're fighting over this thing, and what's amazing about it, it's almost exactly alike. So I don't really understand what the problem is, but that will be worked out, I feel sure. You know, of course, tax reform, I'm not going to steal thunder from the lieutenant governor that's going to speak after a while. May want to speak on that. I haven't talked to him about what he's going to speak on. But we just have a difference of opinion. Hopefully we'll be able to work something out there. But we've already done some IHL bonds to help our universities and sent them over to the House. And of course, we passed some very important general bills. Another really important part of this session is redistricting. Of course, we've already done the congressional redistricting. We've done a bill that we thought was very fair to everyone. the congressmen and all their constituents, and fair to Mississippi. And I think it is a really good bill. We've tried to follow all the guidelines, the federal guidelines and every other guideline that we have thrown upon us. And we passed that, and the governor signed it. It's already being challenged, but I can assure you I feel very confident we'll win in court on that because of the fact that we went by all the guidelines and did everything that we were supposed to do. Now we're in the process of actually doing the legislative reapportionment or redistricting. I did not volunteer to be chairman of that, but I am the chairman. I was appointed to that by the lieutenant governor, which I someday will forgive him for. But it's an awesome responsibility. There's absolutely no way that you can make every senator happy with their new district, no matter how hard you try. Of the map that we're working on, I mean, I don't even like my district, if you want to know the truth about it. But when you lose 65,000 people plus out of the Delta, and the state loses 6,000 overall, you say, how is that possible? Well, a lot of the people in the Delta did not move out of Mississippi. What they did is move on the east side of I-55, and they moved up north. Well, it's not like when they say we lost 65,000 people, you panic. We still have most all of those people. They're just they've relocated, let's put it that way. A lot to DeSoto County. The three major growth areas in this state right now on the census is DeSoto County, Rankin, South Madison, and Harrison County. And of course, all the coast counties are growing. I think the largest growth probably was which surprised me, Rankin County. We've had quite a bit of growth, and that's because it's not set in one little area. It's spread county-wide. So, but anyway, we're working on that. We have this year, this past year, we had 9 hearings all over the state. As a matter of fact, I have some of the towns we went to, it was joint hearings on congressional and legislative districting. And we went to Meridian, Tupelo, Senatobia, Itta Bena, Natchez, Gulfport, Jackson, Hattiesburg. So we had hearings there. What surprised us all was the people that attended. I'd say 95% of the people that attended those meetings really didn't have a big interest in congressional or legislative redistricting. They wanted to know about aldermen's races. They felt like they weren't being treated properly there, and supervisor districts, which we told them we have nothing to do. But they still said, we want to talk about it anyway. We want you to know it. So we heard that quite a bit. Hopefully with you guys and all that you do, and ladies, that this 10 years from now, we won't be facing this, losing 65,000 people out of the Delta and a lot of other counties that are suffering, honestly, from loss of population. And that hopefully will change. I don't feel like you guys all came to hear me speak, so I'm going to cut it short. I want to tell you that I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate everything that you do, the Senate does, as well as the House. I do want to brag on someone. I want to brag on Jim Beckett and the House. Jim, we alternate every 10 years between the House and the Senate as who's the chairman. He's the chairman of the reapportionment, and I'm the vice chairman. And then he's chairman of the reapportionment for the House members, and I am for the Senate. Jim is a real gentleman. He's done a very, very good job. I'm very proud of him and the way he's conducted himself. And if I had to brag on anyone right now, the people that I've been working with, coming from a senator, it's a House member, and it's Jim Beckett. He's done a fantastic job, and I appreciate everything he's done. I'm going to stop now and get back and start presiding over the Senate. We've got Mississippi State baseball team there right now, as a matter of fact. So I got to get back there so the lieutenant governor can come and enlighten you on the thing. I don't want to steal his thunder. Thank you so much.